Hello and welcome to the Say Yes to Life series. Say Yes to Life is an initiative introduced with the aim to offer hope to every person suffering from a mental illness through awareness building and reducing the stigma of talking about mental health. This series will feature India's foremost psychiatrists sharing their perspective on the forces that shape the mental health narrative. And I am utterly delighted to welcome our featured speaker for the very first session of this series was Dr. Jai Ranjan Ram from Kolkata. Dr. Ram, of course, needs no introduction. He's been a consultant psychiatrist practicing at the Apollo Multi-Speciality Hospital, Kolkata. He's also been the director and co-founder of Mental Health Foundation, instrumental in addressing the growing mental health needs in children, adolescents, as well as adults. Doctor, now there are three names, Joy, Ranjan, Ram. So should I go with Dr. Ram?
Yes, whatever you are comfortable with.
Okay.
Thank you. But thank you, Shaan, for having me here. It's a privilege and an honor. And I must say that we need more champions like you to shed light on a topic which is very, very neglected. So thank you.
Not at all, Doctor. Thank you so much for flying down and being with us here today. And I know that this is something that you've been working on for so many years now. And, not just in Kolkata, across the world, if I may say, you have people coming down to share your, expertise on this. So today we've got this opportunity to talk about certain issues and certain very impending issues on mental health, which have, like you said, have been neglected, ignored for many years. But I think in the last few years, a lot of discussions and a lot of awareness of mental health has come about. So, Doctor, the topic that we're going to be discussing with Dr. Ram today is mental illness mythbusters and the importance of mental health. So, there are so many myths around this thing. Everyone is a psychiatrist to some level, friends you go to, "Arey nahi, kuch nahi hai, yaar, aisa kar le, waise kar le, Unani medicines are there, ye hai, wo hai." So some of these myths that I myself have faced, or I myself have sometimes even, been victim to. And of course, what is the importance of mental health to just, we all know about physical health, but,
I think it is enormously important, as you know, that physical, one of the fallacies, you said use the word narrative to shape the narrative of mental health discussion in India. Hopefully this will go a long way. I think one of the biggest fallacies we have is that we separate physical health and mental health, which is a very, very erroneous idea. Brain is the master organ. It conducts everything, all our emotions, behavior, the way we feel. It also regulates the functioning of our body. Now, if something goes wrong in the brain, it can manifest as a mental health illness, as a mental illness, and also because it controls our entire body, it also affects our bodily function.
Right.
A very common example, Shaan, if I give you, suppose I have an exam, or suppose I am have this interview and I'm kind of awestruck, I'm facing face to face with Shaan and I'm nervous. And so what will happen is, I will have palpitations, butterflies in my stomach. So it's not that I have a stomach problem or I have a cardiac problem that I having palpitation, but it is, I'm just anxious.
Right.
So there's an intimate link, and that anxiety is producing a physical symptom. So there's an intimate link between mind and body. The fallacy has been that somehow we have been able to focus on physical health more, and because of stigma, common myths, we have neglected mental health.
True.
And I personally feel, the pandemic has been a terrible, terrible tragedy at our world. But I think one of the blessings of the pandemic has been that at least we have been able to focus more on our mental health.
Sure.
Because we have realized that how precarious, fragile our mental health can be because of all the sufferings we have seen. So I think it's a welcome change, and hopefully we will be able to focus more on our mental health and see it as an integral part of our wellness. We really cannot have a six-pack without a six-pack mind.
True. No, as you would, there's something that's been happening in my, a very close help of mine keeps complaining of, having this pain in his neck or pain in his throat. and we've done MRIs, we've done everything possible, and it never struck me that this could actually not be a physical situation but a mental situation, that his brain
Absolutely.
is triggering him to
Yeah.
think that some, and so like you said that mental, physical, it should be the same thing, and when you create that divide, people somehow want to give physical health so
Separate,
much
yeah.
more importance, so much more time and effort, and mental health ho jayega, so it's time to bring both of them on the same platter and discuss it
I
as
think,
health.
yeah, I think people are not aware, because how can you think that if I am having a stomach problem, if I am having indigestion, it is actually related to my anxiety, it is actually related to my performance in my school or in my college, or that I have to deliver this project, so therefore I am having indigestion. So you will go to a gastroenterologist and you will kind of get all the tests done, and you will find nothing is detectable as per your investigations. And invariably then the doctors ask, are you stressed, are you anxious, and then often the answer comes yes. So there is an intimate link. And also one of the problem is many of us find it shameful to acknowledge that I might be anxious, I might be stressed, I am not able to cope with all the demands. So there is this terrible myth which says that only if you have anxiety or depression, then you are a weak person. So I think that also needs to be shed really. All of us, whoever we are, can develop mental illness, can develop anxiety, depression. So we need to look out for each other and not further isolate the person who is reaching out for help.
Doc, also, I was, your introduction says that you're working with children, adolescents, as well as adults. So, how much of this implies to children? I know there is a lot of, be it education, be it their parents wanting them to be who their parents want them to be, and but also that their system is now new, the brain, the neuron, whatever it is, they can probably deal with it. Or how many children do you
see, we
think
do
are
see a lot of young people in our service, because we are a organization geared towards looking young children. If I take give you a slightly longer answer to your question, there are problems in children occur in 3 or 4 clusters. Okay. First group of people who come to us are say 0 to 5, where
as young as that?
Yeah, where their development is not happening as per
Okay.
the normal course. So they might be delayed in their speech, they might be delayed in their walking, they may not be able to grasp the nursery classes or whatever ABCD thing. And so that is what we know as developmental disorders, which or they might be very, very restless, throwing tantrums. ADHD, yeah. So those are called developmental disorders, which are ADHD or autism or speech and language delay. So that is one group. The second group which comes are kind of above
but just
5.
while we are there, like obviously like autism is a very extreme situation, and a parent can very easily be able to, but this stress of he's already 3 and not speaking as much as someone else, is that more an issue with the parent wanting things to happen quicker than it is?
No. That is
really
entirely no. It's entirely a delay in brain development.
Okay.
So
even that is a medical condition. It's
absolutely.
not,
Okay. It's called developmental disorders, and we help the parents how to kind of help the children. The second group is where children are having anxiety, depression as young as 6, 7, 8 because of parental conflict, because of abuse, which is very, very common but undetected in India. So that is the other group which comes to us. Then again, rising the age of kind of adolescents, they start having behavior problems, predilection towards substance misuse, screen time increased, and therefore they're having behavior problems, anger issues, and also anxiety, depression, peer-related body image problems, bullying, and also family issues affecting them. So it kind of, builds up. And so we see the whole spectrum of young people with a range of problems. But
and I'm
fortunately,
sure a lot of them go completely, neglected in that sense, undetected in that sense.
So I must say, with media campaigns and with more increasing parental awareness and a lot of impact from the schools really, children are coming much sooner. Although, we can do a lot more. But the problem happens many of the times when we realize that the problem belongs in the family, where there is abuse or domestic violence or alcohol problems, then the parents don't want to get treatment.
Because they
would
don't
say
want to
that
keep their secrets
They
to
say that you
themselves.
fix our child, not us. So many young people, they come to us with anxiety, depression, low mood, self-harm, suicidal ideations, even attempted suicide. And when we dig deeper into their history, into their family background, we realize that either there is severe marital problems at home, or there is domestic violence, or there is emotional or sexual abuse. So when we point it out to the families that it is the home environment which needs to be rectified, or either the father or the mother, they need help, they actually don't agree. So they say that fix the child, but we won't.
Don't focus on us now.
Don't
Yeah.
focus on us,
Fix
and
the
because the
issue where it
purse
is.
strings, and often we lose the child in that respect, because ultimately, a child cannot pay for his or her own treatment.
They're
So
dependent
therefore-
at that point. Yeah.
So we have to approach this very gently. I don't believe that any parent wants their children to suffer. So we have to approach them with respect, the family with respect. So
I'm sorry, I'm digressing a little bit, but right now we are talking about situations that can push a child into this kind
Severe,
of a mental disorder. But can a child at that age actually have a biological mental disorder? Can we talk about the neurophysics of the whole thing?
Yeah. See,
Can those those endorphins or serotonin
absolutely.
as
See,
early as that?
No. See, brain is a very, very living organ. So your environment affects the brain. It affects how it functions. And therefore, if there are problems in your environment, if there is abuse, if there is emotional trauma, if there is stress, it shapes your brain in such a way that your ability to cope with stress will decrease, and you will become more prone to developing mental illnesses. And this is a proven scientific fact, that if you are brought up in a very deprived, marginalized environment, your brain will be different. It
Or
will
could
not
be.
Could
many,
be.
many survive,
Absolutely.
many go through, and
Absolutely.
they learn from that situation. They come out stronger.
So your brain
But
will-
my question actually really is, Doc, because we're talking about mythbusters here. So a lot of people are in the perfect situation, children, so to say. There is no such thing. Parents today, of course, parental care has become such a big topic, and every parent wants to do the best for their children, no matter what their own personal life is. I mean, their personal equation is. But I'm told when you talk about clinical depression, it is a biological condition that can come
Absolutely.
without trigger.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it can happen even without any of these situations.
Absolutely.
But can it happen to a child as young as, say, 10 or something like that? Can they
Much
have-
younger, Shaan, much younger. So you are genetically predisposed. So
and
you
can
have
this then actually, can you map it? Can this be scanned? Can someone actually maybe do you have a problem when you do an X-ray, you find out that your bone is
No.
We
haven't advanced to that stage that we can map it and say that yes, this child has. We can suspect that a child has genetic predisposition because of their family history of mental illness, but we can't really pinpoint it with precision. But again, there are many early indicators which is a bit more complicated, but we can't really pinpoint and say that yes, this child will develop.
Right. So if that child is a borderline and there is a situation that is going on, then you know
there
that
is,
child is
yeah.
being pushed into that
Absolutely,
space. And if you don't find a holistic approach to sorting that situation, it's going to be something that
Escalate,
is going to
yeah.
stay with the
So
child.
I think we have to be mindful of a child's life. We need to be conscious that all children need nurturing, all children need unconditional love, and that doesn't mean that you will not kind of scold your child, but you will not discipline your child. You have to do it without humiliating the child.
Right.
You have to have conversations with the child regarding how you can build self-esteem. So I think we have lost the culture of conversing with the child. We instruct the child. So I think there is a big difference there.
And Doc, are you getting a lot of, I don't know whether we should be discussing this, but a lot of, with all this discussion, and it's sometimes also fashionable to say, I'm so stressed out, oh, I'm going through these anxiety stresses, oh, dude, you're up all night partying, you wake up in the morning, obviously you're going to feel tired and fatigued, but you're going to blame it on, I think I'm going bipolar. And is there a way, we talk about myths, so is there a way that we can actually decipher what is real and what is fashion, to call it for,
Absolutely,
for a worse word?
Like if you see a lot of Woody Allen movies,
Right.
he was constantly being neurotic and would talk about going to his therapist. So
Right.
there is also this kind of, as you said, the people who are kind of relatively well off, affluent,
Right.
they often use it as a fashion tag that I'm slightly bipolar. But I think that's more a kind of just fashion really, because, and not too much substance in what they, what they are saying.
And can you
there
see
is-
through that? Because it's mental, how do you
Yeah,
how do you
yeah.
find
No,
out?
you can differentiate. See, ultimately it will affect your
Have you told
functioning.
any of your patients off, saying that, you're just wasting my time?
No.
Has it ever
I
happened?
think if, suppose I come to you and I'm saying that Shaan, and you are a psychiatrist and you're saying,
Right.
so I'm bipolar and you think I'm not, and I'm just saying it for the sake of it, you will need to inquire why I'm saying that. Maybe I'm not getting attention in the way I want. So if I think Shaan will give me more kind of time, if I say I'm mentally ill or if I'm depressed, you need to point out that to me, and you will say that, Jay, even if you are not depressed, I'm there for you. Let's go out for a.
Or you need to also tell them that this is stemming from this other need
Absolutely,
that you have.
absolutely.
And that need is what you need to focus on,
Address,
and not
yeah.
create
Myths
this
myths in your
self-pity
mind.
through
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
that I am this and I am that. And because while this is a very, very important topic to create awareness on mental health, to understand the difference between depression and clinical or medical depression, it's also important that we don't turn this into some kind of a
Absolutely, it's not a catch-all phrase where everyone kind
Right,
of says that we are depressed. So therefore, I think you will have situations where people are shirking work because they are saying that few times a year I would get requests that can you write me a sick note, and then where I feel that the person is not actually depressed. So how do you deal with that?
Right.
I think we need to go into the details of why the person is doing it and how best we can help it, because obviously he is taking that way to cope with certain problems. So he might be bringing up things which are not there just to run away from something. So we need to kind of sensitively.
Yeah, because that is also that's an issue too. That's also a mental issue. So
Absolutely,
you can't just
absolutely.
dismiss them. That's
Absolutely.
not the best way to handle
No,
that.
no, absolutely.
Of course, of course. Doc, any other typical myths that you would want to bust about mental health?
I think it's not a sign of weakness. I think it takes a lot of courage to kind of come out and say that, look, I'm not coping. That's number one. Number two myth is that, if you talk about, if you are able to express your feelings, people will not reach out to you because, fortunately now we have a climate where fortunately a lot of young people do offer support. So therefore you do reach out, and I'm pretty sure that people will offer you help and support. And I think I can't overemphasize the feeling, one of the things, it's not really a myth, but staying connected to your real world, be connected to those around you rather than virtually. Obviously, phones and gadgets are an integral part of life. I think it is foolish to say that we can't use them, but do also be aware of your real connections and not be kind of constantly submerged in a virtual world. And, exercise, fun, music, everything you need to include in your life. And the other thing which I want to say that, see, happiness, joy, feeling okay is, we must pursue that. But again, sadness is also a part of life, and sadness teaches us something, and if we go through a phase of anxiety and depression, that makes us stronger, we become more resilient, and then maybe we understand the plight of others more and reach out for others even more. So I think it's not end of the world if you are having anxiety or depression, because you come out stronger, you come out a more sensitive person.
Right. One other thing that a lot of people, I've had a personal experience with this, with, my own most important person in my life, my own wife went through this, and everything is fine until they find out, or you tell someone, and they find out that, oh, now she's under medication. That hits alarm bells. They're like, no, bro, whatever you do, don't get into that thing. Once they get into medication, it's impossible to get them out, and medication is like a end of the road kind of a situation. So talk to her, keep her charged, but don't let. So this is also a kind
there
of.
Is, yeah, I'm glad you.
Or I don't know why, but people have this aversion. No,
absolutely.
don't
I think
get there.
I'm glad you brought it up, because taking medicines for mental health problems or mental illness is mandatory if your doctor recommends it. And these are non-addictive medicines. These will help you to cope, and you will feel much better. And people think that we will get addicted, it will make us numb, it will kind of damage our organ systems, which is completely erroneous. If you are under proper medical supervision, you can be on medicines indefinitely, even lifelong, without any problems. But majority of patients are able to stop medicines and lead a completely fulfilling life. And if we can take one blood pressure pill, 2 diabetes pills without any worry, I really struggle to understand why people kind of are worried about taking a medicine for their mental health. It is again coming back to this whole thing that we view mental illness as something as weakness. And people don't mind taking a medicine for their weak knees, but they will think that, oh my God, if I'm taking a medicine for my depression, that means I'm weak. Which is not true. It's a chemical alteration in your brain which is causing this, and you just need to mend it. That's all.
And yes, you have to wean out, I'm told. You can't just stop it because like anything, like you have a course of antibiotics, you can't just have to and say, okay, ab main theek lag raha hu, main chhod deta hu. So it has to run its course, and I think we come out stronger, we come out, like you said, better evolved people. I've seen that myself. And the great thing is that, yes, it's not the end of the world, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You have to face it, fight it, and
be hopeful.
Yeah, and the myths around it, the only way you can get rid of them by going to the right sources for your information, because these days, thanks to Google and thanks to human Googles everywhere, अरे मुझे बता, मैं पूछता हूँ, मैं कहूँगा, everyone wants to give you information. So wonderful. Dr. Joy Ranjan Ram.
Yeah,
wonderful. What do people generally call you, Doctor? Full all 3 names?
No. I have got a nickname which most people know me by.
Now there's a 4th name.
Yeah, my nickname is more popular. So
okay.
It's Jaja. So
Jaja.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Bongs and the nicknames. Yeah, my nickname rhymes with yours.
Oh.
Raja. Very obvious one, Raja. So wonderful. Never want to tell you Jaja, sir, because I'm so happy that आप यहाँ आए, तो I would always say आजा. And but having said that, thank you so much once again for shedding so much light on this very sensitive topic. But it was important to kind of talk about certain खुलेआम बात करना जरूरी थी, so that we can bust the myths that are around mental health. And I think my greatest takeaway from our conversation is this divide between mental health and physical health, because the brain is controlling a lot of our physical actions, and a lot of our physical actions are because of certain chemicals that the brain is. I'm also to like backaches, even that has something to do with anxiety,
pain,
to do with stress.
Everything is linked together. It's all in the brain. It is controlling everything. So to view it separately, like if you are depressed, you are more prone to infections because your immunity gets lowered. Your cancer prognosis is worse if you are depressed. So see, in every which way, mental and physical health are connected. It is actually quite sad that a French philosopher called Descartes, who actually separated mental mind-body dualism. So, you know, I think he was present in the 17th century, and 400 years down the road, we haven't yet shed this mind-body dualism. So it was Descartes who said that mind and body are separate, which is completely erroneous now we know, but somehow we are still living under the shadows of it. It's time to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's time to break that wall and time to say yes to life and all things positive and all things that are inclusive, all things that make life in general a better, you know, better place to live in. And yes, we should talk about health, not mental and physical separation. Wonderful, doctor.
Thank you
so much. And I'm very tempted to বাঙালিতে কিছু আপনার বলার খুব ইচ্ছে হচ্ছে, দুটো বাঙালি বসে আছি, but of course
একটা বাংলায় গান হলে I think
বাংলা গান on the topic that we're talking about, can you think of any song? Any such song? Okay, to the new world with lesser of these divides, lesser of the walls, more awareness, we can say পৃথিবী বদলে গেছে যা দেখি নতুন লাগে তুমি আমি একই আছি দুজনে যা ছিলাম আগে. It's a very forced kind of
it's wonderful
connection.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have to be, you know, aware of all the changes and keep looking for positive development and keep evolving with time. And there's another song that's coming to my mind that says apna har din aise jiyo jaise ke aakhri ho. So enjoy every moment of your life, and I'm sure if you're enjoying present, then automatically
future will be okay.
Future will be okay. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you.